Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again. I am going to do a little how-to series, and we are going to do the eyebrows, the wings, the face, the blush, highlight and contour, and the lips. And I'm going to tell you all the tips and tricks I have so that way you can get the perfect makeup look. My first how-to video is going to be how to get the perfect brows. If you want to know what different type of products to use to get your perfect brow, then just keep on watching. First and foremost, when I'm doing my brows, I always comb through them first so that way I can see all of the brow hairs. If you have any strays and you do your brows yourself or have any tweezers, go ahead and pluck them so that way you get the flawless application. Or if you have a little face razor, I like to go above my brow sometimes and get extra unwanted hair. I'm going to show you how to use different brow products. So first we're going to go in with pomades. This is the Morphe Brow Cream. All of the information's in the description box down below, but normally you take a brush with this. So I'm using this e.l.f. angled eye brush. And what I always do is I start in the middle of my eyebrow and work towards the tail because you want your tail to be darker than the beginning of your brow. Because naturally, if you look at your brows, the innards are a little bit lighter and the outer is a little bit darker. This is a darker brow product from Anastasia, and I'm putting that directly on the tail because, like I said, you want that almost like an ombre look. I also comb my brow hairs down so that way I can get as much product in there as possible. And then normally after I'm done actually putting the product in my brow, I like to clean them up with some concealer and make it look a little bit nicer. So I'm going to take this concealer brush, and you can use a smaller one if you need to, but I'm going to take this Tarte one, put a little bit of concealer on it, and then I'm going to kind of trace underneath my eyebrow and above my eyebrow to clean it up. And then if you have a little small beauty blender, you can always blend it out or just use your finger. Depending on how you want your brows to look, I like mine to look a little bit more structured. I put the concealer above my brow as well to give them a better shape. And that's pretty much the look. Now moving on to a brow pencil. This is the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I use two different colors, soft brown and medium brown. And again, I start in the middle of my eyebrow and I'm going in with the soft brown. And then I work my way up to the front, and I barely put any product in the front of the brow, and I just kind of flick it up because that's naturally what your brow hairs do in the front. And then I take the darker shade and I go towards the tail and make the tail end darker. But you can see that I push my brow hairs up and back and forth to make sure that I'm getting as much product in there as possible to make sure they're filled and there's no sparse area. If you want a more natural eyebrow, you can use a brow powder. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder in the shade dark brown. I've had this for a while, but I barely use it. Normally you use it if you're a beginner and you're doing your brows, but same technique, you make the tail end darker. So I'm putting the darker color on the tail end, brushing the hairs down, making sure I get all of the sparse areas, and then going back in with the lighter shade on a different brush and putting that right in the front, and then just cleaning it up afterwards to your liking. And you can do this in any style. Normally I just follow my natural brow shape. I try not to go too overboard because you still want it to look like your eyebrows and not like you painted them on. And then finally I'm going in with the brow product I use on a normal basis. This is the Urban Decay Brow Blade, and you have this little felt tip pen basically. And I'm just flicking it up, and it makes it look like your brows are microbladed almost because of how precise the pen is. So it's really nice and it gives you a natural look, but also obviously you can fill in any sparse areas you have. And it's just really easy to use. And on the other end, it has an actual brow pencil part, so that's nice if you don't always want your brows to look microbladed. But I'm just using little strokes and taking my time because I don't want to mess up. And if you do mess up, you can always go in with some concealer and clean it up. And I just like cleaning up my brows because it makes them look more structured and almost like better in my opinion than if you didn't, but you don't have to go overboard or anything. So I basically clean up the underneath and then I blend it down, and I usually use concealer as a primer for my eyeshadow anyway. So I'm just blending it out, and then also I put some on the top of my eyebrow as well. And lastly, this step is optional, but if you want to use a brow definer or like a brow gel or something, then you can run that through your brows to make sure that they stay in place and don't move throughout the day. This is just a clear one from e.l.f. and it makes my hairs look nice and fluffy almost. So I put that in, and those are the brows, nice and laid down, natural, but you can obviously tell that there's makeup in them. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next how-to.